Anyway, how you doing?
Good, how are you?
Good. What's the mood of Elon today?
The mood?
It could be anything.
I feel good.
Do you?
Yeah.
All right, we have a lot to talk about.
Great.
Where do you want to start?
Anywhere you'd like to start.
All right, China. Cryptocurrency, what they're doing.
That's my safe word, by the way.
Okay, good. What they're doing? Or cryptocurrency?
Yeah.
Cryptocurrency.
Yeah, it'll kill any
Good to know for later for us. Go ahead.
Cryptocurrency in China.
Yes, what they're doing around Bitcoin, etc. And then I'd like to pivot to what the U.S. is going to do around regulation.
Well, it would appear that they don't love cryptocurrency.
It appears like that.
Yeah, it's subtle, but you're hinting in that direction. I can't speak to exactly why they don't like it that much, but people can speculate for various reasons. China, by the way, is having some significant electricity generation issues.
Yeah.
So, actually, I think part of it may actually be due to electricity shortages in many parts of China. So, a lot of South China right now is having random power outages because the power demand is higher than expected. Crypto mining might be playing a role in that. I'm not sure.
This is further than that.
It is further than that. Well, I suppose cryptocurrency is fundamentally aimed at reducing the power of a centralized government.
Yes, it is.
And that they don't like that.
Okay.
That's my guess.
Okay. So what do you think is going to happen? Because this
I mean, maybe the audience has other
the
ideas.
shares went up. It didn't matter after they announced this. They went down and they went up. You can change the shares of cryptocurrency more than China can.
Yeah.
Is that a good thing?
If it goes up, I suppose it is. I mean, I think there's always long-term role for crypto, really people should think of any kind of money system, whether it's a store of value or currency, as really a form of information. If you apply information theory to money, whether it's cryptocurrency or some other form, and view it in terms of how good is it at sort of bandwidth, latency, jitter, dropping packets, which is, you could say, like fraud is like losing packets or something on the network, its overall security, then I think a lot of these things just make a lot of sense in that,
sure.
in that regard. Like any form of money has no power in and of itself except as an exchange of value between people for goods or services, or to translate things in time, like a loan.
So is this the right thing for governments to do, to take control of it? Is it possible?
It is not possible to, I think, destroy crypto, but it is possible for governments to slow down its advancement.
So what should the U.S. government do? We had Gary Gensler on earlier, SEC chairman. He was calling it the Wild West of finance. What should they do, if anything?
I would say do nothing.
Okay, they're not saying that.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't seriously just let it fly.
Because?
Well, what do you think governments can do?
I think they can, like you said, I think they can ruin it. I don't think they can just slow it down. I think they can stop it. I don't think they can control it. And therefore, they may want to stop it.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say that I'm some, massive cryptocurrency expert. I think there's some value to cryptocurrency. I don't think it's like the second coming of the Messiah, which some people seem to think. It will hopefully reduce the error and latency in the money system, the legacy money systems, and reduce the, governments have a habit of editing the money database, which is like probably some ancient mainframe somewhere in Virginia running COBOL. FY. It's kind of bleak to think about that. So, when governments can't keep their hand out of the cookie jar and edit the money database, there's probably some value to that.
Okay, so what are you're saying you're not an expert, but you spend a lot of time tweeting about it. Now, you tweet about a lot of things. We'll get to that in a minute. But why is that, why, that's true. Why is that of interest to you, crypto? Because you become, I wouldn't say the crypto messiah, but you're close.
Crypto messiah.
That's going to be a tweet.
Oh, no. Well, I mostly don't tweet about crypto. This is a minority of small number of tweets.
Okay.
So, I do know a lot about the money system and payments and how it actually works, as opposed to, say, how economists think it works. On a practical basis, just how money is just basically the monetary system is a series of heterogeneous databases that are not real time, with the exception of PayPal and a few others, and to reconcile on a batch basis. That may take anywhere from 24 hours to several days, so it's slow. That's just a lot of latency and jitter, and the ACH system has basically no security. And this has just it was that way when PayPal started in '99, and it's still that way 22 years later.
So it needs reform.
Yeah, exactly.
So I want to move on to when China. I want to stick with China for a second. You are operating there, selling there. What do you make of what they're doing to the tech entrepreneurs there, the tech moguls?
Where is Jack Ma?
Where is Jack Ma? Do you know?
No, I was curious.
We have some means to find out, I'm guessing.
Maybe. I don't know. I think there are some changes afoot in China. I think part of this may be actually COVID related, in the sense that it's been quite difficult to have in-person meetings in China, and China really runs, the whole system is set up to run on the basis of in-person meetings. And the absence of these meetings for the past 18 months, I think, has probably led to things being worse than they would be if there were more in-person meetings.
Okay.
So I think as COVID lifts and the in-person meetings return, I think I think probably there will be an increase in the sort of trust level, and I think things will probably start heading in a more positive direction.
The trust level between tech and the government.
Yeah, both internally within China and with respect to people from the U.S. and other countries going and visiting and meeting with officials in the Chinese government. Now, it's just China is very much set up to work with in-person meetings, and so COVID, I think, has impeded that. So I think things will improve, most likely, as the in-person meetings resume.
So they did these antitrust actions because they couldn't say hello.
I think not all of it can be ascribed to that, but it's some of it can be. We'll see. I suspect things will improve next year because of just more interaction.
Are you nervous about what you're doing there? It's a big market for you. You operate there.
Yeah, we've got a big factory in Shanghai, which is doing very well. The Tesla China team is doing great work, and we do well with selling in the Chinese market, as well as producing cars for China and for export to Europe. So overall, things are going pretty well, frankly.
You're not worried about U.S.-China relations?
I don't. It's not. No, not especially right now.
Not especially. All right. So let's talk about space. You had a recent space. You sent up a bunch of civilians into space. You did not send yourself up.
No, I've not sent myself up. I suppose I will at some point. But my goal is not to set myself up. My goal is to open up space for humanity and ultimately set us on a path to becoming a spacefaring civilization and a multi-planet species.
Yes. So you don't want to go up yourself?
It's neither here nor there. I will go at some point.
What do you think of the other efforts to go to suborbital?
Suborbital is a step in the direction of orbit, but but just to put things into perspective, you need about 100 times more energy to get to orbit versus suborbit. And then to get back from orbit, you need to burn off that energy. So you need a heavy-duty heat shield because you're coming in like a meteor.
Yes.
So like orbit is roughly 2 orders of magnitude more difficult than suborbit. But it's still, good to do something in space.
What did you think watching those, both Richard Branson and Jeff Bezos doing that?
I thought it was cool that they're spending money on the advancement of space. I think we ultimately humanity wants to be, should want to be a spacefaring civilization and out there among the stars. And I think we really want, all these things that we see in science fiction movies and books, we want those to be real one day, not always fiction.
Right.
So I think it's good that people are spending their money advancing space technology.
So last time we talked, we didn't talk a lot about space. We talked about a whole bunch. We talked about meat flaps, which was Elon's word for speaking. We're flapping our...
Yeah, slow tonal wheezing.
Yes, that's right. When I sound like it right now.
That's what we sound like to a computer.
Right.
Like whale sound, slow down.
Yeah. So we didn't talk about space. So let's talk a little bit about where you think you've advanced with what you're doing, because I think you're probably the most fast forward of all these efforts.
Yeah, so with respect to SpaceX, let's see. There's two, besides orbital human spaceflight and providing transport for NASA of astronauts and cargo to and from the space station, which we've been doing for a while now, over a decade. We have something called Starlink, which is a global internet system, and this is, I think, going to have some profound positive effects on the world because Starlink is really designed to serve the least served.
You have 1,300 satellites up right now, is that correct?
1,500.
And you want to put 30,000.
Yeah.
We'll get to space pollution in a minute, but explain what were the reasons for it.
Yeah, so in order to provide high bandwidth, low latency connectivity to a large number of people, you need a lot of satellites, and they need to be at low Earth orbit so that latency is low. The problem with satellites that are at geostationary orbit is that they are around 36,000 kilometers, whereas we are at 550 kilometers. So gigantic difference in latency. For the Starlink system, you could play like a competitive video game that's latency dependent and still be able to play it with Starlink. It's like browsing a terrestrial system, essentially. But Starlink is really, just to be clear, not a threat to 5G or terrestrial fiber or anything like that. But it's very well suited to low to medium density regions of the Earth, places where it is too expensive to trench fiber or put 5G cellular base stations, and so it's really a good. It kind of takes care of the people that just didn't get internet, or either the internet's too slow or too expensive, or they just don't have it at all. It's very well suited, a space-based system for serving like the least served, maybe 5% or something like that.
How big a part of your space business is it, from your perspective?
I mean, I think it's quite significant in that the launch side of things, just launching other people's satellites and serving the space station, probably tops out around $3 or $4 billion a year of revenue. Whereas if we can get to say 3% of global internet traffic, then that's roughly $1 trillion a year business. Then we can increase our revenue by an order of magnitude to more like 30 billion or something like that, and then we can use the proceeds from that to develop the rocket technology necessary to get humanity to Mars and to the moon, and